Before the trade, the war within. The hard truth about trading. Every day, millions of people wake up and enter the market. They come with charts, tools, predictions, confidence, and dreams. And yet, most will fail. Not because they didn't have the right indicators, the right news feed, or even the right setup, but because they never developed the right mind. You've heard the stats. 80% of retail traders lose money. 10% break even or fluctuate year to year. Only about 1 to 5% actually earn consistent profits over the long term. And of that 1 to 5%, most are not the fastest, not the loudest, not even the most technically gifted. They are the most disciplined. They are the most resilient. They are the ones who took their mindset seriously because they knew the market doesn't just test your edge, it tests your entire nervous system. 2, trading is the ultimate mirror. Ask any trader who's been around longer than a few years, and they'll tell you, the market doesn't just reveal opportunities. It reveals you, who you really are, what you truly believe about risk, control, patience, pressure, fear, loss, and self-worth. Every trade is a test, a mirror, a magnifier. You think you're disciplined until your winning trade turns around and wipes out your confidence. You think you've moved past greed until you size up after 3 green trades and get slapped. You think you've mastered fear until your system gives you a signal right after your biggest loss and you freeze. The chart doesn't lie. Your mind does. The biggest losses are not financial. They're psychological. They leave a dent in your identity. And this audiobook, it's about repairing that identity, rebuilding it, then reinforcing it until you become unshakable. 3, you don't have a trading problem. You have a thinking problem. Let's get even more honest. If you've ever said, the market manipulated me, my stop got hunted again, I just need a better system. Once I learn one more strategy, I'll be consistent. Then you've been looking in the wrong place. Your problem isn't external. It's internal. Because you can learn the best system in the world and still self-sabotage it out of fear, revenge, doubt, or FOMO. You can be right about the market, but wrong about your execution, your risk, your mind, and your timing. The most dangerous place to trade from is a dysregulated nervous system. And that's where this audiobook begins. This isn't about candlesticks. This is about emotional candor, about facing what most traders ignore. Your beliefs, your emotions, your identity, your relationship with uncertainty. This isn't about beating the market. It's about beating the version of you that keeps losing. 4, the real enemies of the trader's mind. Let's name them. No sugarcoating. No fluff. These are the true enemies of a trader's inner game. 1, FOMO, fear of missing out. The addiction to chase anything that moves. You think you're being agile. You're not. You're impulsive. 2, revenge trading. You lose a trade, and now it's personal. Your brain goes primal. You want your money back. You're no longer trading. You're emotionally negotiating. 3, overtrading. You tell yourself, one more. But really you're escaping boredom. You're addicted to stimulation, not profit. 4, fear of pulling the trigger. You've done the analysis. The setup is valid, but your finger freezes. Why? Because you don't trust yourself. 5, the need to be right. You hold on to losing trades because admitting you're wrong hurts. So you risk more to protect your ego. 6, outcome addiction. You focus on this trade, not the next 1,000. You chase wins. You panic at losses. You forget the long game. These aren't technical problems. They're psychological traps. And the trader who doesn't master these never escapes mediocrity. V, what this audiobook will do for you. This is a blueprint for total mental recalibration. By the time you reach the final chapter, you will, white heavy checkmark, know how to think like a top 1% trader. Calm, calculated, and resilient. White heavy checkmark, rewire your mental triggers and emotional defaults. White heavy checkmark, learn how to manage risk, uncertainty, and chaos without panicking. White heavy checkmark, build inner habits that make consistency inevitable. White heavy checkmark, stop blowing up good trades with bad mindsets. White heavy checkmark, finally start trading from clarity, not desperation. And most importantly, You'll reclaim control, the one thing you can master in every market condition, yourself. 6. Who this is for. This audiobook is for the day trader who keeps winning in the morning and losing it all by lunch. The swing trader who nails entries but exits emotionally. The scalper who gets caught in high leverage loops. The long-term investor who panics every time the market dips. The seasoned trader who knows strategy but hasn't conquered self-doubt. And the new trader who wants to build the right mindset from day one. It's for the serious. The one who is done making excuses, done blaming the market, done avoiding the mirror. Because you know what's possible. You've seen the glimpses, the moments of flow, the days when you were in sync with yourself. You want more of that consistently. And that's what the trader's inner game is here to give you. 7. The shift that changes everything. Let me leave you with this. There's a version of you that trades with peace. That doesn't flinch at red candles. That doesn't chase. Doesn't fear. Doesn't rush. There's a version of you that knows. Loss is part of the game, not a personal failure. Discipline is a skill, not a feeling. Risk is a tool, not a threat. Money is a metric, not your identity. That version of you is real. It's not hype. It's not fantasy. But it must be built deliberately, consciously, repeatedly. And the building begins here. Headphone, you don't need more information. You need transformation. You've already got the tools. Now it's time to strengthen the hands that use them, sharpen the mind that commands them, and regulate the heart that trades under pressure. Welcome to the trader's inner game. The war within is winnable. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Building the trader's mental foundation, identity, belief, and the self-concept of a consistent trader. You don't trade your strategy. You trade your self-concept. You trade what you believe you deserve. You trade the level of emotional control you've trained for. And you will always trade at the level of your identity, not your ambition. This chapter is a foundation. Because if your self-image isn't aligned with consistent trader, nothing else will matter. You'll keep winning small and losing big. You'll self-sabotage just when you're about to break through. You'll build momentum, then unconsciously destroy it. Why? Because your inner world always dictates your outer results. Identity drives behavior every time. Here's a truth most traders ignore. You will always act like the person you believe yourself to be. Not who you say you are. Not who you hope to become. Who you really believe you are, deep down, when no one's watching. If you believe you're undisciplined, you'll find a way to skip your trading rules, no matter how good they are. If you believe you're not worthy of consistent wealth, you'll subconsciously find ways to give it back. If you see yourself as a newbie, you'll hesitate to take high-probability setups, because confidence and identity are inseparable. And here's the key. You don't trade the market. You trade your beliefs. Every hesitation, every over-leveraged entry, every ignored stop-loss comes from a misalignment between who you're trying to be and who you actually believe you are. So if you want to trade better, you don't just fix your system. You upgrade your self-image. 2. Self-image is built, not inherited. Maybe you grew up around chaos. Maybe money was tight. Maybe you were taught that wealth was for other people. Maybe you've carried failure long enough that you've begun to wear it like skin. That ends here, because identity is not fixed. It's constructed, like a muscle, like a habit, like a system. Let's define it. Your trading identity is a set of beliefs you hold about your capability, discipline, and right to win in the market. And you can build it piece by piece, through repetition, through awareness, through intentional rewiring, through evidence-based upgrades. It's not about hype. It's not about saying affirmations while you trade. It's about creating so much internal alignment that your actions stop contradicting your vision. 3. The 3 pillars of a strong trader identity. Let's break down what makes up a world-class trader's mental foundation. It comes down to 3 core components. 1. Belief in self-trust. I trust myself to follow my plan, even when my emotions flare. This is rare. Most traders don't trust themselves. They think they need more information, more indicators, more certainty. But trust isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing you won't abandon your process under pressure. Self-trust is a muscle, and every time you follow your trading rules, you strengthen it. Every time you skip a low-quality setup, you reinforce it. Every time you close a trade without second-guessing, you become more unshakable. 2. Belief in your edge. I believe in my system because I've tested it, tracked it, owned it. Here's a secret. Most traders don't actually believe in their strategy. That's why they jump from one to another. That's why they tweak it after every loss. Belief in your edge comes from data and discipline, not emotion. You've backtested it. You've journaled it. You've seen it perform over time. That belief makes you immune to noise. It gives you permission to trade less, but better. 3. Belief in your future self. I'm becoming a consistently profitable trader, and my daily actions reflect that. You can't build what you don't believe in. And if you don't see yourself as a consistent trader, you'll never act like one. Belief in your future self changes. What trades you take, how you manage loss, how you size risk, how you talk to yourself after red days. You start playing the infinite game, not the next trade game. 4. How to rewire a losing identity. Let's get practical. Here's how you begin shifting from an impulsive, inconsistent trader to one who thinks, behaves, and wins with precision. 1. Catch the narrative. Start listening to your thoughts after every trade. I always mess up on Fridays. I can't trade breakouts. I knew I'd lose that one. These are not harmless. They're commands, and your subconscious obeys. Rewrite them rigorously, repeatedly. I trade with discipline on Fridays. I manage risk on all setups, including breakouts. Losses are part of my system. I learn and move forward. 2. Stack micro wins. Don't aim to be perfect. Aim to collect evidence. Every time you stick to your stop, size correctly, follow your journal, walk away after your session, you're casting a vote for your upgraded identity. Do it daily. And those micro wins, they compound. 3. Visualize execution, not just outcome. Stop daydreaming about your next $10,000 trade. Start visualizing yourself, sitting calmly in front of your setup, executing cleanly and without hesitation, taking a loss and shrugging it off, walking away instead of overtrading. That's what real mental programming looks like. 4. Build the rituals of a consistent trader. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your rituals. Ask, what does the 7-figure trader version of me do every morning? How does he or she prepare for the week? What does he or she refuse to tolerate? Then act like that person before you arrive. Your identity shifts through behavior. V. Final reflection. You are the system. Your strategy is important, but your identity is the real system. Your habits are your system. Your emotions are your system. Your beliefs are your system. Your energy, your sleep, your discipline, all of it is your system. If your mindset isn't optimized, your strategy will always underperform. So start today. Audit your self-talk. Track your emotional reactions. Design a new image of who you are becoming. And align your daily behavior with that version of you. Because once your identity changes, your trading will never look the same again. Chapter 2. The 7 mental traps that kill consistency and how to break them forever. You don't lose because you're undisciplined. You lose because you keep falling into mental traps you don't even see. You're not broken. You're just running an outdated mindset on autopilot. If Chapter 1 was about identity, this chapter is about defense. Because no matter how strong your trading system is, if you keep falling into emotional patterns, you'll sabotage your results over and over again. This chapter gives you a map. We'll expose the 7 psychological traps that kill consistency in traders at every level and show you exactly how to break free from each one. Let's begin. Trap 1. The one more trap over trading. The lie. I'll just take one more trade. It always starts small. You hit your daily goal, but you're in the zone. So you stay. You keep clicking. You end up giving it all back, and then some. Overtrading is not about greed. It's about mental fatigue and the addiction to stimulation. The market becomes a slot machine. and your focus, it collapses. Solution: the shutdown ritual. Strategic traders don't rely on willpower. They build rituals. Decide on a fixed max number of trades per day. Create a non-negotiable shutdown checklist. When you're done, close your platform. Walk away. Reward the behavior, not the outcome. Discipline begins when the trade ends. Trap 2. The what if I'm wrong? Trap: paralysis by analysis. The lie: I just need more confirmation. You spot your setup. You hesitate. You stare. You wait. And then it's gone. Paralysis isn't caused by doubt. It's caused by lack of trust. You don't trust your system. You don't trust your plan. You don't trust yourself. So you wait, not for a signal, but for certainty that never comes. Solution: process-based confidence. You don't need to feel 100% ready. You need to know your system has been tested. If the setup is valid, take the trade. Don't wait for perfection. Trade your plan. Confidence comes from following through, not thinking more. Trap 3. The I can get it back trap: revenge trading. The lie: I'll just make this back quickly. You took a loss. Now you're angry. You feel exposed, vulnerable. So what do? You force a trade. You size up. You act from emotion. This is not trading. This is emotional retaliation. Solution: the red zone rule. When you lose big, you are not in a rational state. You're in a red zone, triggered and reactive. Here's the rule: when you're emotionally compromised, you don't trade. Period. Take 24 hours off. Review. Reset. Journal what triggered you. Learn. Revenge trading always ends the same: regret. Trap 4. This trade will fix everything trap: outcome addiction. The lie: this is the one that will make it all back. You put pressure on a single trade to fix your account, your month, your life. You fantasize about the perfect entry, the perfect run, and you ignore all risk management. This is not strategy. This is gambling in disguise. Solution: the next 1,000 trades mindset. You are not trying to win this trade. You are building a track record. Trade like you'll be judged not by your profits, but by how consistently you followed your plan over the next 1,000 trades. That shift takes pressure off the moment and puts power back into your process. Trap 5. It has to win trap: ego attachment. The lie: I can't be wrong on this one. You hold longer than your stop. You add more size to a loser. You stare at the screen hoping it turns around. You're not managing risk. You're managing your ego. Being right becomes more important than being profitable. Solution: emotional stop-loss discipline. Create a stop-loss rule you never violate. Fixed percent of capital. Risk-to-reward cutoff. Maximum daily loss limit. Your goal is not to win every trade. It's to stay in the game long enough for your edge to play out. Detach from being right. Attach to being consistent. Trap 6. I don't deserve this trap: subconscious sabotage. The lie: I'm just getting lucky. You're finally winning. You're doing everything right. And then you start slipping. Over-trading. Breaking rules. Losing discipline. Why? Because deep down, you don't believe you deserve to win consistently. You're afraid of what success means. You're afraid it will go away. So you make sure it does, your way. Solution: rewire deservingness. This is deep work. Journal where your beliefs about money, worth, and identity come from. Practice identity affirmation every morning. I am a trader who trades with clarity. I am building wealth with discipline. Reinforce new beliefs through daily micro wins. You don't earn consistency once. You earn it every day through aligned action. Trap 7. The I'll figure out later trap: lack of reflection. The lie: I don't need to review. I already know what I did. No, you don't. Until it's written down, until you've tracked it, reviewed it, dissected it. You are just guessing. Lack of review is the number one reason traders repeat their mistakes. The brain forgets what it doesn't record. The market punishes what you don't learn. Solution: the 5-minute trading journal. After every session. What did I do well? What did I violate my process? What emotion affected me today? What was the trade of the day and why? What's my plan tomorrow? 5 minutes. That's it. But the edge it gives you over time? Massive. Final reflection. Every trap is breakable. These traps are not unique to you. They're universal. Every trader faces them. The difference is who builds immunity and who repeats the same emotional loops for years. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be aware. You need to see the pattern before it sees you. So write these traps down. Track them. Master them. Because once you do, you stop being a reactive trader and become a calculated, strategic operator. That's when consistency becomes your new default. Headphone next up. Chapter 3. High-performance habits of top traders, routine, energy, and mental conditioning. Chapter 3. High-performance habits of top traders, routine, energy, and mental conditioning. The best traders don't rely on luck. They rely on rhythm. They don't trade with emotion. They trade with rituals. If you look at elite traders across every market, stocks, crypto, forex, futures, you'll see a pattern. It's not their strategy. It's not their indicators. It's not even their capital. It's their discipline. But discipline isn't magic. It's a system, a collection of daily habits. So in grain, they run on autopilot. That's what this chapter is about. Not hype, not theory, just high-performance habits that keep your mind sharp, your emotions stable, and your trading consistent. Let's break it down. Routine creates rhythm. Rhythm creates results. When your mind is calm, your charts speak clearly. Most traders fail because they chase clarity during the trade. Top traders build clarity before they even open the platform. The best trades begin before the market opens. They begin with routine, repetition, rhythm. Let's build that rhythm from the ground up. 2. The 3-part routine of high-level traders. There are 3 parts to the elite trader's rhythm. The pre-market mindset ritual, the in-session mental protocol, the post-market reflection routine. Let's go deep into each. 1. The pre-market mindset ritual. Before charts, before coffee, before news, you build your inner state. Here's what a powerful pre-market ritual includes. A. Stillness, 5 to 10 minutes. Meditation, breath work, silence. Clear your mind before the chaos begins. You're not trying to relax. You're resetting the nervous system for clarity. Still mind equals strategic execution. B. Visualization, 2 to 3 minutes. Visualize yourself, spotting your setup with confidence, executing cleanly, walking away from overtrades, handling red days like a pro. C. Mental rehearsal mantra. Say out loud or write, I trade only what I see. I follow my system with discipline. I protect my capital with pride. I trade from clarity, not emotion. This conditions your identity and intent before you touch your tools. 2. The in-session mental protocol. Now the market is open. Your plan is in place, but chaos is on the screen. This is where 99% of traders lose control. Emotion takes over. Here's how the top 1% stay composed. A. Environmental focus. No distractions. Close tabs, silence phone, block alerts. Use noise-canceling headphones or ambient music. Be in a physical posture of alert calm, not slouched, not stressed. B. Rule card in plain sight. Have your rules in front of you, not in your head, in your vision. Example, max 3 trades per day. 2:1 minimum risk reward. No trades 30 minutes after major news. Max loss equals walk away. Visual reinforcement keeps impulse in check. C. Emotion check every 60 minutes. Set a timer. Ask, am I calm? Am I bored? Am I trying to force a trade? Am I reacting or responding? Breathe. Reset. Recalibrate. This alone can save your entire session. 3. The post-market reflection routine. Most traders close the charts and forget the day. Top traders review it, because performance without feedback equals no growth. Here's what you do. A. The 5-minute journal, end of session. Answer, what was the highest quality trade I took? Did I follow my plan? What emotions surfaced today? What will I improve tomorrow? Use voice notes if you hate writing. Just get the reflection out of your head and into reality. B. System scorecard. Rate your performance, not your profit. Category score 1 to 5. Focus. Rule following. Emotional control. Patience. Trade quality. Add it up. Track weekly. You're not just growing your account. You're growing you. 3. Energy management equals emotional mastery. A tired trader is a dangerous trader. You think you're just making mistakes. You're not. You're depleted. Let's fix it. A. Sleep like it's strategy. 7 to 8 hours. No excuses. No screens 30 minutes before bed. Same sleep-wake time, even on weekends. You want to lead execution? Treat sleep like your edge. B. Train your body, sharpen your mind. You don't need to be an athlete. You need 20 to 30 minutes daily of physical movement. Walk, stretch, lift, breathe. Movement resets your nervous system and boosts cognitive function. This isn't health advice. It's performance optimization. C. Fuel with discipline. Hydrate before coffee. Eat for energy, not dopamine. No big meals before trading sessions. You're not feeding your hunger. You're fueling your execution state. 4. Digital discipline. Don't let devices run your mind. You want focus. You want presence. But you're checking Discord, email, Twitter, WhatsApp during your trades? That's not multitasking. That's self-sabotage. Set rules. One screen equals trading only. No checking social media until after your journal. Airplane mode during high-focus periods. Protect your mental RAM like your equity. You only get so many decision units per day. Use them wisely. V. Recovery is a secret weapon. The best traders don't just perform. They recover like professionals. Do you have an actual system for recovery? Top performers do. Because mental fatigue is real and compounding. Create a ritual after a tough day. Step outside. Move your body. Call someone non-trading related. Watch something light. Disconnect completely for at least 90 minutes. You're not weak for resting. You're weak if you don't. Because burnout doesn't show up loud. It creeps in one over trade, one missed setup, one anxious night at a time. Final reflection. Consistency is built, not found. You don't become consistent because you want to. You become consistent because you act like someone who already is. And that means starting the day like a professional, managing your energy like a surgeon, logging your process like an athlete, reflecting like a CEO, recovering like a warrior. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be deliberate. Rituals, feelings. Habits, hope. Structure, hype. Build the habits of a consistent trader, and your results will follow. Chapter 4. The Emotional Mastery. How to stay calm, disciplined, and unshakable under pressure. You can't control the market, but you can control your mind. That's the real game. Because when everything is moving, fast, irrational, chaotic, your ability to stay still inside is what separates wins from wipeouts. Emotional mastery in trading isn't about becoming cold or robotic. It's about awareness, regulation, and presence. Most traders are completely unaware of the emotions that are driving their decisions. One moment, they're in control. The next, they're entering revenge trades, chasing losses, or letting euphoria destroy discipline after a win. The first step toward emotional control is recognition. When you name what you're feeling, fear, frustration, greed, you create space between yourself and emotion. That space is where your power lives. Without it, your actions are driven by unconscious reaction. With it, you regain control. Naming is taming. But awareness alone isn't enough. You must create a systematic response to emotion. When your heart rate spikes, when the trade goes against you, when the temptation to override your rules creeps in, you need a pattern interrupt. Something automatic. Something trained. One such approach is simple but powerful. Acknowledge, accept, act. First, acknowledge the emotion. Say it internally. Then accept it without judgment. Finally, act from principle, not from impulse. Over time, this builds a habit of mental clarity under pressure. Still, emotions aren't just mental, they're physical. your breath, your posture, your heartbeat all feed your mental state. That's why physiological regulation is so crucial. Techniques like box breathing, inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4, can lower cortisol and recalibrate your nervous system in less than a minute. You become calm by choice, not by chance. Calm is a skill, and it must be protected. That's where strategic breaks come in. Traders often destroy good sessions by trying to push through emotional spirals. Instead, top performers schedule mandatory pauses after a win, after a loss, after every 3 trades. These pause points prevent cognitive fatigue and emotional spirals. They are acts of discipline, not delay. Grounding techniques, called anchors, also play a powerful role. These are small cues that reconnect you to your highest state. A phrase, a touchstone, a visual. Something to remind you, I am not my P&L. I am not this moment. I am the process. And what about the aftermath? How do you recover from a brutal day? Recovery is part of mastery, not optional, vital. Traders need rituals that cleanse a residue of emotional damage. Write the truth of what happened. Move the body. Clear your space. Talk to someone. Sleep. You must emotionally detox, not just log out. That's how you come back stronger instead of carrying trauma into tomorrow. The most overlooked skill in trading is learning how to win without falling into arrogance and how to lose without falling into despair. When you win, you ground yourself in process. When you lose, you separate identity from outcome. Neither win nor loss defines you. Only your ability to continue with discipline does. Ultimately, emotional mastery means learning detachment, not apathy. You still feel everything, but you don't fuse with anything. You become the observer, not the reactor. And in that space, you find your edge, because the market will never be calm. But you can be, and when you are, when your mind is steady while others are spiraling, you've already won, not just the trade, the game. Chapter 5. Building the long-term trader identity, confidence, discipline, and lifelong growth. Some people trade. Others become traders. There's a difference. One treats trading like a side gig, a passing thrill, or a series of attempts. The other builds a life around it through mindset, behavior, and identity. They don't just follow strategies. They embody the process. They develop a way of seeing, thinking, and showing up in a world that turns trading from a skill into a way of being. This chapter is about that transformation. Becoming a long-term trader isn't about perfect predictions. It's about becoming the kind of person who makes consistent, disciplined, strategic decisions in uncertainty. It's about creating a lifestyle, a mindset, and a structure that can withstand more than just one market cycle. It's about longevity, adaptability, and inner evolution. It starts with identity. Your self-image shapes your behavior. If you still see yourself as a dabbler, a guesser, a hustler, you will subconsciously behave that way. But when you begin to say, I am a trader, and live like one, everything shifts. You take your risk management seriously. You journal. You study. You reflect. You evolve. Discipline becomes non-negotiable. Not the rigid, forced kind, but the internalized discipline that flows from clarity. You understand that you're not trading for today. You're trading for the version of you 5 years from now. So you protect your capital. You walk away from forced trades. You stay humble in winning seasons and resilient through losses. You honor your system because it's part of who you are. Confidence, too, evolves, not from ego, but from earned trust. You don't become confident because you've avoided losses. You become confident because you've survived them, because you've honored your plan under pressure, because you've seen yourself stumble, adjust, and rise. Confidence isn't hype. It's the quiet strength of knowing you're committed for the long run. And that long run, your journey, isn't linear. It will test you, break you, remake you. Markets will change. Life will change. But your growth will always compound. If you keep going, you'll build emotional tools, mental endurance, strategic foresight, self-belief. You'll start to trust the silence between trades, the waiting, the no-trade days, the maturity to sit with ambiguity. This is a true inner game, and it continues off the charts. 2. A trader identity touches every part of your life. You think in probabilities. You value patience. You read people better. You develop calm. You become intentional with time, money, and energy. You become more strategic, not just in markets, but in life. That's the reward for playing this game fully. Not just profits, but self-mastery. So ask yourself, am I building a skill or am I becoming someone? Because the traders who last, the ones who win big and then win again and again, they didn't just master the market. They mastered themselves. And now, so can you.